Birria tacos on the pit. Let's get it done.
These are hands down the best tacos I've ever made. Let's get into it. This recipe calls for 5 pounds of chuck roast. Today we're going to be using a binder. We're using the hot sauce from Killer Hog's Barbecue. Then we're going to back that up with Malcolm's Grande Gringo Mexican seasoning. You know the drill. We're going to hit both sides with that seasoning and we're going to let it rest for 30 minutes. Typically we don't smoke it, but we're going to be doing a partial smoke today. We're smoking these on the Char Griller Grand Champ for about an hour and a half. They're not going to be all the way done through. That's because we're going to be boiling them in 8 cups of beef stock. Next, you're going to add 1 whole onion. Then we're adding 1 head of garlic. Once we have that head of garlic getting familiar in there, we're going to add 4 bay leaves and 1 tablespoon of salt. We're going to bring that up to a light simmer, and then we're going to add our diced up chuck roasts. You don't have to smoke them, but I wanted to try something different with this recipe. Now that we have our chuck roasts in, we're going to let this simmer down for an hour on medium heat. Because my pronunciation is about as good as my diet plan, you're going to need to get these 3 peppers. Chop off the tops, get rid of the seeds, and we're going to go ahead and toss these into a hot pan. We're not doing too much with these peppers. All we're trying to do is get them nice and fragrant before we throw them into a blender. Throw your peppers into a blender. Then this is where the fun begins. You're going to fish that garlic and onion out of that simmering pot. Be sure not to take out any of the bay leaves. Then we're adding 2 to 3 cups of that beef broth that's been boiling. From here, we're adding 1 tablespoon of garlic, 5 to 8 peppercorns, and 5 cloves. Once that's all familiar with each other, we're going to go ahead and blend this until it's nice and smooth. Once this is all blended, we're going to run this through a strainer. We're going to try to run these juices right out of that pulp. This process right here requires some patience as you run the juice out of that puree. Just remember, all this time that you're spending doing this, it's going to reward you with some amazing tacos in the end. Make sure you get rid of that pulp, and we're going to let this simmer on low for 2 to 3 hours. 2.5 hours was all I could handle. This meat is shredding apart like nothing. Once that meat is shredded, you're going to get about a cup or 2 of that consomme that we made, and we're going to take it out to the Char Griller flat iron. We're using corn tortillas dipped in that broth. Be sure you run that corn tortilla on both sides of that oil, and of course, appreciate that beautiful sizzle. Oh yeah, just like that. Once they start to bubble, it's time to give them a flip. Now it's time to add your cheese. Alright guys, real talk. Do yourself a favor and spend the extra $1 or 2 to get the good, melty Mexican cheese. Again, my pronunciation is about as good as my diet plan, so this is the cheese that I used. We're going to add that shredded beef into the taco, and then we're going to add a little bit of cilantro. Hands down, these are going to be the messiest tacos you've ever made, but it's going to be worth it in the end. These tacos are ready for a little bit of that consomme. Just run that over the top, and now it's time to fold your taco. Once that taco is folded, you're going to give it 1 more flip and garnish with some white onion, and these tacos are done. This was a labor of love. It took a lot of time, but it was absolutely worth it in the end. Like I said in the beginning, are they authentic? No. But are they delicious? Absolutely. If you like what we're cooking today, be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe, and as always, we'll see you at the next barbecue.